It is very important and almost necessary for your mental health to set boundaries, whether it's with work, with friends, with family, whatever it may be. But setting boundaries will save your mental health. And I'm going to explain in this video why. If you're new here, my name's Celeste, also known as Celestial Goddess, also known as Celly. If I sound a little sick, it's because I am, so sorry ahead of time. Today I'm going to be talking about boundary setting. I feel like it's been a while since I talked about this, and I think it's really important to come back to this conversation because boundaries are something that you can set along the way. You can reevaluate, and it's something that you kind of always have to reevaluate because you may change your mind on things. Like, you may be okay with something in the beginning, but then later on realize, like, this is not cool. I need to set a boundary here. So it is perfectly okay and fine to change your mind on things. And that's something that I want to advocate for on here. Like, anyone that says, oh, you switched up on me, oh, you're not the same, and that's basically telling someone that they're not allowed to change. That's ridiculous. We are all ever evolving human beings, and each of us, we are allowed to change. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And I do think it's important for us to reevaluate and change depending on where we're going in our life, or what we want for ourselves, what we want for our future, what we want for our present. So boundaries is super important. So we're going to talk about that today. I feel like I have had problems with setting boundaries when I was younger, and it's because I come from a Mexican Latino household where boundaries are not really a thing. If you know, you know. If you're Latino, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I don't think that it's anyone's fault particularly. I just think that that's the culture. Like, they're very community family oriented. So it's kind of like, if one person has a problem, then it's like everyone is invested, everyone gives their opinion. I think it's just naturally embedded into the Latino community. And like, we don't know what we don't know, right? Like, we're just born into that, and we're just like, okay, like, this is how it is. Like, there's no boundaries. And it wasn't until I was an adult, which I'm sure other people have the same experience, where I was like, you know what? It's okay to have boundaries with your family. It's okay to have boundaries with your friends. Like, it's okay to not tell everyone everything about your life. Boundary setting is very important. Even with your work, I feel like some people have work environments where everyone's really close, and you kind of feel left out if you're not, like, close and you're not celebrating someone's birthday, and, like, they talk about, like, their family and their kids and all that stuff. And I think that's great. And I've had relationships with my coworkers before, like friendships, platonic friendships, and I have met some of the best people from being coworkers with them. But I also think that it's up to each person if you want to set a boundary and be like, this is just work, and I don't want to share anything about my personal life. I just want to work and leave, and that's it. And of course, like, sometimes it's hard because people ask, people like to ask, but, it's up to each person whether you want to set a boundary and be like, oh, like, I just have a personal thing I'm doing. And it's okay to want to be private. It's okay to not want to share everything with everyone or share parts of yourself with everyone. It's natural, especially nowadays where you never know someone's intentions. You never know, what's going to happen. So sometimes it's best to just not share. But yeah, setting boundaries is very important. What I think is, like, the steps to setting boundaries, if you want to set them, is first, get real about what it is you want to change. Do you not like how everyone's giving you their opinions? Okay, so get real about who's doing it, what situations they're doing it in. Is it in your relationship? Is it in your the way you raise your kids? Like, what is it? And then after you do that, kind of act out how you would tell them that you're setting a boundary. That has helped me a lot because I used to get really nervous about doing this, but now with practice, I've gotten better. And now I don't need to act anything out. I kind of just set the boundary when I feel it. In the beginning, if you're not used to setting a boundary, then it does help to act it out and pretend that the person's in the room, or even with a friend, be like, hey, can I, or a therapist, can I act this out with you? I'm kind of nervous about setting this boundary with someone. And especially if you don't think that the person can take it offensively, if they're like, oh, what do you mean you're setting a boundary? And some people will take offense to it and will get defensive and will ask why you're changing up on them or whatever it may be. And even in that scenario, you don't owe anyone anything. So if you don't want to explain to someone why you're doing what you're doing, you don't have to. You can just say, you know what, that's something personal that I don't really want to share, but this is my boundary. And you can, follow the boundary I'm setting, or this relationship, this friendship, whatever it is just not going to work for me. So it's super important to communicate that, because some people don't know unless you tell them. Actually, people don't know unless you tell them. So it's important to communicate that, and just know that not everyone may take it well. That is okay. Not everyone has to understand you. Not everyone has to get you. That's like my new mantra right now, is not everyone has to understand you. Not everyone has to get where you're coming from. Not everyone has to hear the big, long explanation as to why you're doing what you're doing. But what's important is that you're setting it, you're doing it, and that they know. Like, hey, this is a boundary from now on. I'm not going to explain why, but this is what it is. You can either listen to it or you cannot, and then we're just not going to have a relationship. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. So be gentle with yourself and just know that these things are difficult. I have heard stories of people setting boundaries and that family member cuts them off because they're like, what do you mean you're setting a boundary? Like, I never want to talk to you again. And sometimes that happens. So it's also important to maybe go through your head, like, what may be the worst case scenario? What if they cut me off? Like, am I ready for that? Because sometimes we're not ready for that, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to know that you're not in that stage yet to set that boundary. Even if people are telling you, like, oh my gosh, you need to tell so-and-so already to just stop getting in your business, but you're not ready, that's okay too. Like, you have to be ready to set it, ready for the repercussions, ready for the after effects, because not everyone is going to take it with rainbows and sunshine. Oh, it's fine and dandy. Like, not everyone will. Especially when someone's used to getting away with things like with you. If you're setting a boundary and then they're used to taking advantage of you or something like that, then they're going to be upset. They're going to be mad. They're going to be like, who's this new person that wants to stand up for themselves? So it is, I will say, coming from a person who used to not set boundaries, who used to be scared of confrontation, who used to avoid these things like the plague, I love where I'm at right now in my life. Like, I feel like I have protected my peace so well, and not to the point where I don't have any friends because I've protected my peace so hard. That is something that can happen. People talk about it all the time. Those memes that's like, protected my peace so hard, I have no friends. Like, I didn't get to that extreme where I like don't talk to anybody. I still have my friends. I still have my family relationships. I still have things that I want to enjoy, friends that I want to enjoy, but it's no longer me just like giving all my energy and pouring all these explanations into people and things that like I don't need to do. It is so freeing when you come out on the other side and you learn to use your weakness as a strength, which is what I did. And like I said, it still is hard for me sometimes. There are certain situations where I feel like I could set a boundary with certain people right now, but I haven't had that conversation because I'm just not ready. And also, sometimes I feel like some people don't even deserve that conversation because they're not in my life anyways. If they were in my life and they continue to do something I don't like, then of course I would say, hey, this is a boundary, like, it needs to stop. But if they're not even in my life anymore because I've realized that my life is happier, more peaceful, better without them in general, then I'm not going to have a conversation with them to tell them that I need a boundary to be set, because sometimes it does more harm than good to talk to someone when they're not willing to listen to you. And some people are hell bent on not understanding you, not listening to you, and it's only going to cause you more anger, more grief, more triggers, more all that. So I just would rather not have that conversation sometimes. But I had to learn the hard way that I'm having these conversations with people that I really don't think even care to know my side, or to even, they don't even care about my boundaries. So why am I having these conversations? Like, there's no need to have a conversation with someone I don't even want to continue talking to, someone I don't even want to let into my life. And those are really hard conversations to have with yourself, really hard conversations to have with your partner or with your friend or your kids, because if you're not letting someone in your life, of course, it's going to change things around, and maybe people will ask questions. And at the end of the day, you need to be happy with yourself. You go to sleep at night with yourself and your decisions and your choices. So I'm a huge believer in it. As long as you are not harming anyone else or harming yourself, you don't owe anyone anything, and you can make those decisions to make your life more peaceful and more happy. Let me know if you guys set boundaries in your life, how you guys do it, if you guys, this is something you also need to work on, or just if you found this information helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll link all my links below to my emotional wellness coaching, my coping skills ebook, my Linktree, where you can also subscribe to my Patreon, where I talk more about content creation, mental health, spirituality, almost everything. And then I also have a self-confidence transformation ebook that you can buy as well. So lots of different things I'm going to link down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.